Hi guys, in this video we're going to tackle a few issues, fixing a problem with moving, fixing the sprites. There was an issue with the sprite cutout, it didn't work, collision detection for impassable objects, and a step counter, and finally we're going to look at how to implement treasure chests. We're not going to actually generate any items in the treasure chest, but we will open treasure chests in this video. And of course, everything starts after the fade. All right, we're just going to dive straight in. This is obviously video 2, so we're going to look at there's a problem with movement, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a sec. Next thing we're going to do is look at collision detection. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you so you can see. I think I can make it bigger. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so the first issue is that when you move, you can move more than once. So I want to stop that. Then I want to take a look at collision detection. I want to have a look at fixing the sprites. As someone wrote in the comments from below in the first video, there was an issue with that. So we're going to fix the sprites and make them transparent. Well, actually, I think I saved them as transparent, so I think we just need to go back in and sort of get the sprites cut out properly. We're going to add a step counter, and because we've added a step counter, we're going to have to add some debug info, which is probably going to be the biggest thing that we're going to do here. And then we're going to do maybe an item chest at the end, but that might be for the next video. But really, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the mechanics down for this, rather than like just going and making a vertical slice of the action. You may have a different plan for yours, but that's kind of where this video is going. Is I just want to get the mechanics down, and then we can start building on things, because I have to figure out things like map structure, format display, and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to come a little bit later. Right now, I think we should just get the mechanics down, like how should the player fire when they're in range? How should they attack when they're in melee range? Melee, malady, that kind of range. So yeah, I want to get that down first before we start, like, what does the dungeon look like? So okay, so here's the problem I've got is, so we've got our little dude here, and watch what happens over here when I start moving. So I'm going to start moving back and forth, and you'll see that it does a smooth transition from one integer to another. And so there's a little bit of a flip, like it goes through -5 to -6. And sometimes it's fast enough or slow enough that you can actually see the transition value there. But watch what happens if I do it really fast. No, not now, Defender. If I go and do this really fast, you'll see that now the numbers are no longer in a grid system, so they're actually offset slightly. That should actually be 3, so you can see that it moves along there a bit, and this should be 2. So it's just moved up a little bit. So we're going to have to stop that. So the easiest way to stop it, I think, is to go into here, and in our animated movement, so we have a handle player movement start coroutine. I'm going to create a private bool is moving. Let's just call it moving. I'm going to set that to false. And then in handle, we're going to say if moving, return. So we just ignore it. We're just going to ignore it. And for our move player, we're going to say this is going to be moving equals true. And then at the end of our enumeration here, we're going to say moving equals false. And that should fix our problem. So let's try and break the game now. And you see that now you can still move, you can still hammer the key, you can hear me hammering the key, but now it's going to the proper grid, because I want to keep everything like this. This makes everything like really simple, because if we make a grid system, then we can just check for collisions against grids and things. So that was the first job, was to fix that issue there. Okay, so that is done. So we'll mark that with an X. Okay, collision detection. Oh, let's put fix sprites first before this one. And yeah, let's do fix sprites first. So let's go into here and go into here, and let me open the sprite editor. Okay, I didn't fix it. Okay, that's fine. So if I show an explorer, and I think I can open this with paint.net. I think I can fix the background just with paint.net. I'm hoping I can. Anyway, so here we are. They're very, very small. But if I choose the wand, so if I go grab this, and where's the wand? This is the wand here. And make sure that flood mode, is it flood mode? Global. I want it to be global. And I want to do that, and then I want to do delete, and then save it. And okay, let me save that there. That should overwrite that. So when we go back into here, I can now go to the sprite editor, and now everything's transparent. So now I can do sprite editor, slice, automatic slice, delete existing, yep, and do that there. And then we click on here and we call this guy again dude. And that's good. And then we need a chest of some kind somewhere. I don't know if we have a chest. So you can see that all the sprites are now 8 by 8. That should be 8 by 8. That's 8 by 9. We can fix that. Is that 8 by 9? I think that might actually be 8 by 9. That's not a problem. We're still going to sit it inside the 8 by 8 block. We need some kind of chest. I think that's a chest there, isn't it? That looks like a chest. And that is, width is 6 by 8. Let's make that 8 by 8. So we'll make that 8. And can we drag that there? And then this one here is going to be 8 as well. Make sure that's centered. And we'll make that 8 by 8 as well. Okay, so that is chest open, and that is chest closed. Okay, and then we'll click on apply, and we can fill in the rest of them later on, but like I said, this is just like a test spreadsheet, test sheet, worksheet here. So we can now make this a little bit better rather than having a bright white background. Okay, so our little dude now wanders about here. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so that is done. All right, so we're getting through this. So the next thing is collision detection. So for collision detection, there's a few bits and pieces that I want to detect again. The first thing actually is, let me go back into here, sprite editor. I actually want a wall as well. So I'm going to choose one of these as a wall. Yeah, there's a wall there. Okay, so that is wall. So we'll call that wall 1. So we know where it is. That's really all that I wanted to do. So if I go to here and then choose 2-column layout, yeah, that's the one I wanted. So now I just got to find dude in here. So we have dude somewhere down here, so 8 by 8, blah, blah, blah. So then we have our chest open, our chest closed, and dude, and then wall. So if I drag wall out onto here, and then move it, say, 5 along in the X, so there's our wall there. And that's all I need for just now. So what I want to do is I want to detect that I'm going to hit that wall. And if I hit that wall, we're not going to move beyond it. Okay. So right now, he's just going to walk right over the top of it. Okay. Which is not ideal. So what we want to do is we want to mark this as being something. So I'm going to mark it as, should we put in a layer? Should we put it in a layer or tag it? Let's tag it. Okay, so we'll tag it as an obstacle or impassable. Impassable, is that a word? Should we look up impassable? Yeah, let's look up impassable. Impassable is a word. Impossible to travel along or over. Well, that sounds like we're onto a winner there. Impassable. Okay, so our first tag is impassable. So we'll go back to our wall here and we'll tag that as being impassable. And that should be us done, right? Okay. Well, not really. Now we could add it as a collision, but I don't want to do that. And there's reasons for that, and I can't think of a good reason just now. So I think the problem is I don't want too many collisions in the game, because I'm thinking that we're going to have a lot of these cells kicking around, and I know I could make it from a tile map, but I don't know if that's the right way to go. And plus the fact I want things that might be impassable that aren't necessarily walls. So this is just the sort of first pass collision detection. So there are things that I don't want, like for example, there might be like a tall candlestick holder that I might not want you to interact with, like you have to go around it kind of thing. Similarly with chests, if you don't have a key for it, you can't open it, but it's still impassable. But if you do have a key, it will open and you'll get the prize, that kind of thing. So those are the sort of impassable objects I mean. So this isn't really the like a collision, like a bounds type collision detection. This is just an object in room type collision detection. So I need to figure out if the player knows if something has hit there. So I need to add a collider to it. Collider, and that's box collider 2D. Now I can't remember if I need to do if I do raycast 2D Unity. Raycast 2D Unity, physics 2D raycast. I'll bring this into here. Okay, so where have we got here? This will return. Cast ray against the colliders in the scene. Raycast collision of the laser beam. Blah 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 blah. Collider hit the ray. I don't think you need a rigid body. Or do you need a rigid body? There you go. You do need a rigid body. Damn it. Do I want to put a rigid body on everything? Well, okay. It's only going to be a couple of objects inside the scene. Okay. Well, let's try that. Rigid body 2D. And this is going to be a static. So we don't need to do anything. It's not going to move. It's just a static object. Okay. So I wonder if, I mean, this is probably going to stop it anyway, but I'm not controlling it. Yeah, because we're not controlling the object using physics, it's not going to stop it. I mean, I could turn on kinematic. I could turn off kinematic and see if that works. But yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, so now I need to figure out what that object is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a raycast to the next square. So this goes back to here. Now this is the problem I've got is, do I do it in here or do I do it in the locomotion part of the object? So this is it in here. So do I do the locomotion thing or not? Now, I don't want to make this too complicated, but maybe what I could do is I could instead have this as a method. So I could do move player like that, and then I could have private void move player vector to direction, and then inside here I would then just have new move player direction. So we're not really changing anything, we're just moving code around, but what it does is it freezes up so that we can do some other things. So we know that we're going to, for example, move in a particular direction. So what we want to do is we want to check if we can move in that direction. If we can't, then we need to do, but if we can, we should post the message. So right now, when we run this, where are we? I'm looking for Unity. Where is Unity? There it is. So we run this. Nothing should change, I hope. Okay, so we can still move, which is good, and I believe we are still correctly stopping false movement. Okay, that's good. So what we want to do is we want to say var hit equals physics 2D dot is it raycast? Raycast, and then we are the origin, which is going to be transform dot position, and then the direction is going to be direction. Okay. And if we get a hit, we want to detect to see if it's in the next square. So we want to say if actually we can specify that as well. So we can say direction, and then the distance is going to be 1 because it's going to be the next square. So if it's hit and hit.tag collider.tag equals impassable. So we'll figure this bit out in a second, but if it's impassable, do nothing. And we'll figure this bit out as well because this is bad code here. Do nothing. Else do that. Okay, so we'll fix this logic out in just a sec, but running this should mean that we can now not walk into this wall. So there you go, he's stuck up against the wall, and that works in any direction. Okay, so that's our sort of simple collision detection there. Is that there. Okay, So that is our collision detection for impassable objects. So we need to check to see, so if it's not equal to, if it equals impassable, what we want to do is we want to return. That's really what we want to do, because we want to do other checks in here as well. Because we also want to check to see if it's a treasure chest, and if it's a treasure chest, then we want to open the treasure chest. Okay. So I really need to stop saying so, but and but. So and but are two things I need to stop saying. So our collision detection for impassable objects is there. Now we have a bit of an issue now, because we now have this idea of tagging things, and so we need to know what things can be tagged and all that kind of stuff. And there isn't really a great way to do this, so I'm just going to create a script in here inside Unity. So I'm going to go to scripts, and then it's just going to be a general script. So I'm going to call it scene object. Let's call it scene. I can't call it. Let's call it world object. Yeah, let's just call it world object. In fact, let's put it inside a folder. So we'll call this folder world, and then we'll put let's call it world object tag. World object tag. So that's a bit more descriptive. So see, can't stop myself. I have to say so. I have to use that filler word. All right. So this class is going to be a static class, and these are all going to be public static. So public static read only. Can we get away with read only? String impassable equals impassable. Now in C# 6, I want to say, we could actually do name of impassable, which is a super handy way of doing it. Unfortunately, it's not available in C# 4 as it says there. There you go, it's version 6 or greater. So we can't do that, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm sure Unity will release version 6 for C# soon. No pressure. So now when we go back down here, we can now say equals world object dot impassable. So now that if we change impassable to mean something else, then it'll be a compilation error, and that's a good thing. So if you have any strings like that, put them in a class, and then just expose a property or a field in this case, and that means that if I change this name to hidden for whatever reason, you'll see that now there's going to be a problem here because impassable no longer exists. So you get a compilation error. So it's a super handy way to do strings like this rather than having them hard coded as impassable. It's much better that you put them in a class. Now we want to do treasure chests. So our treasure chest is, let's go back to art. So the treasure chest is closed. So we're going to have a closed treasure chest. So we'll call this treasure chest. And we're now going to have to create something in here. So we're going to call this, I don't know what to call it. Let's call this, let's have a separate object, a separate folder for everything. So we'll call this treasure. And inside here we'll have a C# script here called treasure chest. And then we'll do that. Then we'll reload solution. Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky. Oh, I keep saying it. I really cannot help myself. All right, so that is at 0, 0, 0. Let's make this at 10. Where are we? 10. So it's just beyond the wall, which means that the player can't get to it unless they go around the wall. So we're already making this game more fun than you know you would otherwise have known. So our treasure chest is a mono behavior. So we're going to have private bool closed. That's going to be set to true by default because it's true. And then we've got public sprite open sprite. So that's going to be the sprite that shows when it has been opened. And for this, we need to create another tag. So we're going to go up to our tags. So for treasure chest, we're going to add a tag. Adding a tag, and we'll call this treasure chest. Okay. Now, one of the annoying things is I wish that if you added a tag, it added it for you as well as when you added the tag. That would be a nice feature if anybody from Unity is listening. But never mind. So yeah, it would be nice if you could put in that and it would just put it there for you. Now we need to check to see if it has touched a treasure chest, which means we now need to add a collider. And we need to add a rigid body 2D, which is static, because treasure chests, unless they're like the luggage in Color of Magic, unless they're like the luggage in Color of Magic, then they're not going to get up feet and move. Color of Money, I'll get it right eventually, is where Doom got its name from. Interesting fact. So now what this means is if we go back into our locomotion script, wherever it is, where are we? Locomotion. So we go into our locomotion script and we put that in there and then put that in here and then say public static read only string treasure chest equals treasure chest. That gives us a treasure chest, and we say that's treasure chest. Then we don't do anything. We just completely don't do anything with it. We'll do something with it in just a sec. So we need to press play. So the wall's still doing that, and then when we get to here, that's doing that as well. So that's good because we want to be able to be blocked by it. But what we want to do though is we want to tell the treasure chest that it's been opened. Now we don't actually want to tell the treasure chest to open. What we want to do is we want to tell the treasure chest manager to open. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to say var open chest equals new open chest, and then we're going to put in hit dot game object hit dot collider dot get component treasure chest, and we're going to pass that in there. Now obviously we don't have an open chest, however we will have that in just a second. So that is our open chest message that we're going to pass. We also don't have a treasure chest manager, which we'll have in a second. Okay. Where are we? So let's open chest, and then we need to create this here. So if we go back to Unity, and then we have our treasure, I think, do we have inside player, we have messages. Okay, so I'm going to create a folder here called messages. So I'm trying to be consistent with how I've arranged the folders. For Unity, it doesn't really matter because they don't have namespaces, but it's nice to arrange them by folder so you know where things are. So I'm going to create a script in here called open chest. And I'm going to reload the solution. And of course, our open chest is actually going to be base message. And what's it looking for? Create chest in there. And I think, do we need to? No, we don't need to do anything else there. So we need to do public treasure chest get private set, and then of course that is open chest treasure chest. All right, so that's our message done. Again, these classes are supposed to be super simple. They're not supposed to be like complicated beasts of things. They're just supposed to be simple. Like this thing here is supposed to be simple. So check if we can move in that direction. If we can't do that. So now we have our checks. So So we're checking to see if we can move the player. If we reach an impassable object, it's impassable. Then we just return and go out. We check to see if we hit a treasure chest, and if we do hit a treasure chest, we want to open the treasure chest and then return. So we still don't allow the player to pass over the chest. That's one of the rules of our game here. So then we want to do message queue instance.post open chest. So we don't have a treasure chest manager, but that's something that we need to add now. And the way we do that is, remember we had over here, oops, we've got our dude over here, and we have our player, and our player has this animated movement script on it. So our animated movement script has a receiver mono behavior, all right? So we are going to put an object in here called environment, and we're going to create a new script here called treasure manager. Let's call it treasure chest manager, just to keep it consistent. And our treasure chest manager is going to extend from receiver mono behavior treasure chest. Okay, and we don't need these, but we do need to implement our abstract class. So there is our handle, and there is our onAwake. So this is us handling our treasure chest. So for now, the only thing that our treasure chest is going to do, why is it complaining? Oh, that's right. Open chest. That's why. Okay, so that our message is open chest, not treasure chest. So all we want to do to handle the open treasure chest just now is message dot treasure chest dot open. That's all we're going to do. Now, again, we don't have an open method. So if you go to treasure chest just now, we're going to say public void open get sprite get component sprite renderer dot sprite equals open sprite. Right? Again, super simple. Now, what we're going to do here is to do handle treasure drop. I don't know what that's going to be, but it's going to be handling the treasure drop when we do it. So then we go back to our treasure chest here. Hope I'm not going too fast. If anyone's got any comments about this, then please leave a note below. I'm just trying to think about all the things that we need to do here. Okay, so we have our sprite renderer, our box collider, and our rigid body for our treasure chest. And I'm going to move that just below the camera, the environment. And then we want to add our treasure chest object. And our treasure chest object, we need to add the chest open portion of the sprite. Okay, so let's run this back again. So we've got our treasure chest here. We have our sprite renderer and our box collider 2D and our rigid body 2D. So that's the visual component and then our physics component, so we don't collide into things. We use our raycaster. And our raycaster is literally just shooting a line out from somewhere. It's like a laser, as it says in the notes there in the Unity documentation, it's like pointing a laser beam and then the laser beam bounces back. And if the laser beam bounces back, it means you've hit something. So that's our rigid body and our box collider. And then we added our own script there, our treasure chest, which contains one thing and one thing only, which is a method that shows the chest opening. The actual treasure itself will be a couple of parameters that we add to our treasure chest. And that's it. Our treasure chest script, this thing here, is going to be no more than a couple of parameters. We're not going to do any more. There's going to be no more functionality in here other than this. That's all we're going to do. Everything's going to be handled by our treasure chest manager, because it's going to decide based on, how many, how deep in the dungeons you are, what level your character's at, all that kind of stuff. That's all going to be done inside the treasure chest manager. The only thing that the treasure chest is there for is just to go, and that's it. So we might add a a sound effect, but the sound effect is not going to be handled by this. It's going to be handled by the sound effect manager, because when it attaches, it's going to look for an open chest event, and it's going to handle that as well. So there's all this kind of stuff that's going on here. So okay, all right. So now, we're going to get stuck behind our wall. We're going to have to move behind the wall, and then we go to our treasure chest, and the treasure chest, when I press the right arrow again, will open up. It will open up. It's not opening up. Okay, well, let's debug it. Let's find out what's wrong. So let's go back to our locomotion script. Locomotion, and then we're going to go to move player, and it's going to post that. It's going to post to open chest. And I wonder what happens inside there. Let's find out. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, so going over to here. All right, so it did hit that. So we're going to step through. It's going to find the instance. It's got the instance. I'm going to post that there. If receivers contains key message, open chest, treasure chest. What? Well, that's not good. So, oh, I know why. If we go to environment, we need to add our treasure chest manager. We need to add it to the scene before we can actually do anything with it. Everything's fine. It's just I've done my usual, which is forget to add a treasure chest manager to the scene, because I always do that. Okay, so now keep your eyes on the prize. Actually, let's keep the suspense up just a little bit more. Let's move the treasure chest to -5. Okay, because it's on that side of the screen, it makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so I move over here, and then when I press left, he should open the treasure chest. Boom! Treasure chest opens. Okay, so we've done all that for that, but everything's going to piece together, and it's going to be really nice. So if I go and grab this and duplicate this, and then move that to 5 up there, and I duplicate that, and then I move it to +3, that kind of thing. So if I do that, then I can go around all of these, and it will do, like, I haven't added any more code. I've done nothing else. I can just go here and then just start tapping these things, and then it opens up the treasure chest. And of course I can't, I'm physically blocked from doing anything beyond that. I still have to walk around the treasure chest. That cell is dead to me. I can't move around it. So that's treasure then, or at least that's collision detection for treasure chests. So and treasure chests. Kinda the treasure manager is in. Treasure chest manager is in. Okay. So what we're also going to have to do when we get around this is our receiver mono behavior. So if we go back to this and we go to register, you notice that the register has this receiver here. We are going to have to maybe think about doing like a method that we can call, like a wrapper, because in thinking about the sound effects for the treasure chest opening, like I want to be able to, like when you tap move, it's got to go like that. It's got to make like a kind of footprint sound, so it goes like that. So I need to handle many events, but this only allows me to handle a event, receiver mono behavior. So we're going to have to do some abstraction nicely, or should I say not nicely, but what's kind of cool is that we can do that already. So if I go to receiver, where is it? Where's our post office? Message queue. Here we go. When I go to the message queue, we can have another register method that takes in an action, and then we can wrap it inside a receiver and do almost exactly the same thing. So it's going to work out perfectly for us. We don't really need to change that much code. We just need to add another method in there, but that's coming later. Actually, let's write that down. To do, especially for sound, we need to add a register method for individual methods rather than just classes that implement iReceiver. So we need to handle that, but we'll handle that later. Okay, we're back to the list. All right, so we've done fixing a problem with moving. You can move more than once. Fixing sprites, did that. Thank you very much. Was it that said that in the comments? Actually, let me just call you out here. Internet. It was Nicholas Blee. Thank you, Nicholas. You said the automatic slice didn't work because the white background, it's reading it as one big giant picture. You are quite correct, sir. I thought I'd actually fixed it and uploaded the fixed PNG, but clearly I hadn't, and that's why that's part of this video. All right. So the next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to do the step counter. Now the step counter is an interesting thing. So it's going to be part of the player stats. So we're going to create a player stats manager. Ooh, maybe that's what we need to do. Okay, well we definitely need to do what I just said that we didn't need to do. We need to do that now. So, okay. So, stop saying so. Inside player, I'm going to create, let's call this, let's create this folder here called stats. And I'm going to create another C# script here called player stats manager. Now the player stats manager, because this is a roguelike, it's not going to be a save, but it's going to record information. So I don't want it. So here's the problem. I don't want it to extend from receive the receiver. Okay, I don't want to extend that receiver, but I do want to receive messages from everything. So I don't want it just to receive a message. I want it to receive footsteps and how many treasure chests you've opened, for example. So we might have to think about how we're going to handle that as well. So in the meantime, let's just have fields. Now, I probably don't want to have fields. I probably want to have something more than fields here, but private int steps, private int chests. And then I want to say void start. And it's going to be message queue dot instance dot register, and then the register is going to be I want to register player moved, and I also want to register instance dot register chest opened. Okay, and these are going to be player moved, void player moved, and that's going to be move player movement private void that, private void chest opened, open chest, chest. I'm going to make these public just now, just so we can see them in the inspector. But now we have an issue. Okay, so the issue is that our super simple class here, really what we want to do is we want to just update these values here. So I want to create another method inside here that takes in an argument of a particular type, which extends from our base or our iMessage interface. So if we go back to message queue, I need to create a public void register tMessage, and this is going to be action tMessage action. Okay, so we're going to take in some kind of action, and remember, an action is just it says it here, it's just a delegate that takes in this as a parameter. And you see that if we go back to our player stats here, get one. Cannot be inferred from usage. Try do I need to move player? Okay. Open chest. All right. Okay. Apparently I have to do that. Apparently that can't be inferred from there, but whatever. So our action is going to be that. Unfortunately, we need to have some kind of receiver. So what I'm going to do is inside our post office here, I'm going to create another class. And that class is going to be called method receiver. Method receiver, yeah. And we'll get rid of that. And we'll get rid of that. And method receiver is going to be iReceiver. And it's got a private class. And of course, I don't implement that, so I can implement the interface. And then it's going to handle the message. So my public constructor for that is going to be method receiver. Oh yeah, it's not going to like it because I have to make it public. Public method receiver, and then I'm going to take in an action, which is going to be iMessage. I'm going to have to do this again, I think. tMessage receiver where tMessage iMessage. And that's going to be message action tMessage action. Okay, sorry, I was trying to think there and I can't think and type at this time of night. It's currently 10 o'clock at night just now. Okay, so this is our method receiver. This is going to wrap our method call so that we don't have to do any crazy stuff inside the post office. All we need to do is just add that one method. That's what I was saying earlier on. What we need to do now is we need to have a private action tMessage action. Then we say action equals action. Why is this not autofilling? And then our handle, all we have is action message. And that is our wrapper, and that should be tMessage. That's why it's not working there. All right, there you go. Oh, I've got to do this implicitly, haven't I? Yeah, there you go. And we'll do handle message. And we need to pass that in as tMessage, don't we? Sometimes C#. Okay, so now in here we do var method receiver equals new method receiver tMessage. I don't know if I can do that. Action. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. Register method receiver. Can I get rid of that? No. we're stuck at the same place again, folks. The receiver, I could just do that. Oh, right, okay. Where T message, I message. There we go. Okay, and then we do register. What's it not like about that? Generics. All right, so the long-winded part of that is over, and we should be plain sailing now. So what this goal is going to be is, you notice that we haven't changed anything there, so let's get rid of that to do because we've done it. So this register here takes in a class that implements iReceiver. Okay, so we did that in the previous video. So if you're lost completely, the previous video we handled that. This one here takes a method. Okay, so a delegate, a function pointer. So it takes in an action of some kind that uses this tMessage type, which implements iMessage. This code here and our post code here does not handle that. It only knows how to handle classes. So what we've done is we've created a wrapper class around our method that we can then just pass into our code up here. So we don't change any of this and we don't change any of this. All we had to do is add one method and we're done. Okay, one method in a class, this class here. But all this is going to do is pass things through there. And what that means though is, and I'm going to remind myself to do that, so I'm going to go to environment and then I'm going to add player, once it compiles, player stats manager. You see we have steps and chests. So all the stuff that we did last week, last week. Now if we watch steps and chests, every time I take a step, nothing happens over here. Why is nothing happening over here? That should have worked. There you go. It didn't work because I didn't do anything in here. You have to do steps plus plus, and I'm going to do chests plus plus. So every time we take a step, we add one to the total of steps. Every time we open a chest, we add one to the chest there. Okay, so and again, bear in mind, we're not directly calling this. This is all done through our message queue. So all that happens is inside our locomotion script, we have two methods that fire. We have an open chest post message and we have a move player message. We don't do anything else. There's no wiring between those classes. I'm not dragging and dropping and filling in objects and all that kind of stuff. It's all done by message passing. This is the reason why I set this up in the previous video. This message queue is that everything's handled through the message queue. We don't need to touch other classes directly. We can completely abstract the classes from each other. So now when I make a move, watch what happens over here. And you'll see that the steps are now moving up. The player's moving, so that's two actions that are happening just now. So the player moves and the number of steps taken increases. Now when I open a chest, it opens a chest. You can see that this opens up here, and then over here we can open up another chest, and then so on. Okay, and then when we hit ourselves against a brick wall, the steps don't go up because the move player doesn't move. But then when we start moving around the place, the steps go up again. Okay, so that's all working. Step counter. That did not take that long. I'm actually surprised and amazed, as you should be, that it didn't take that long. There was a bit of worry there with the old generics in there, but it didn't turn into the 20-minute. I wonder why that's not working. Usual that happens there. So that's good. So the last thing that's on the list. Let's see what time I've got here. Okay, we're up to an hour. The last thing I have here is debug info, which I think I'm going to leave for the next video. So I'm going to move that out of there, and I'm going to move that into the next video, because I think an hour is probably long enough for these videos. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, thumbs down. Please let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of video. I'm actually having a really good fun time with this roguelike. I've never built a roguelike before. If you have built a roguelike, throw comments and the suggestions below. Everybody's roguelike is different. There's roguelike purists out there, I know. Please don't get annoyed if I'm not doing roguelikes the way that you are doing it. But I would like to hear what, like if you've done a 7-day roguelike, that kind of thing, leave a comment below. So this video, we fixed the problem with moving. So the problem was that it was supposed to move in integer steps, and it ended up moving in fractions, which is terrible for a cell-based game. Fixed the sprites as well. So again, thanks again to Nicholas Blay for your suggestion. I realized after the video, but I appreciate the comment, and like I said, if you have any of these comments, that's perfect place to put it, is in the notes in the comment section below. I certainly read them. So yeah, and people will tell you that I do reply as much as I can to comments, especially if you have questions about things. So feel free to leave comments in the notes below. If you're looking for source code for this, the link for that is in the show notes below as well. So what else we do? We also do collision detection as well for impassable objects and for treasure chests. So the player can't roll over a wall, and they can't roll over a treasure chest. And we'll be implementing more and more of these things as well. So if we put in, candlesticks holders, I think it gave one example there, and that kind of stuff. A step counter. We added a step counter so that every time you move, it registers that your steps there, and this is the perfect use for the menu, the message queue. It's works wonders. We also implemented the item chest, kind of. We haven't actually given any items because we don't have an item thing yet. So yeah, but the treasure chest manager is in, and it's a work in progress, so that's a good thing. We didn't get to the debug info, but that's going to take probably another half an hour to do, and I'd rather leave that for another video, because I think an hour, you can probably tell from my voice, is probably long enough for these videos. But yeah, thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. Please share this video or any other video that you like of mine on any social media you want: Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus. Too soon, or anything else. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.